What SSH is and how to use it to your advantage. Secure Shell. What is SSH? Sometimes also called Secure Socket Shell, or as some geek programmers call it, is a network communication protocol that uses client-server model to let two computers communicate with a secure and remote connection using SSH. The client and the server communicate through an encrypted connection, eliminating any risk of men-in-the-middle attacks and keeping data transmissions private. SSH also refers to the utilities that implement the SSH protocol. Users can use the command line interface CLI to execute shell commands and perform various file operations on a variety of devices like remote computers or web servers, routers and others. Now, where is SSH and hosting? It used. SSH is an indispensable tool in web hosting, although you may need some technical knowledge to take advantage of all of the command interfaces capabilities. You can use it to securely create backups, transfer files, and perform file operations like copying, pasting, or moving files on the server. And with the proper permissions, users can execute different commands on remote host, including shell and bash scripts. SSH gives users the tools to manage servers effectively through a secure and remote connection. Now, SFTP Secure File Transfer Protocol uses an SSH connection in combination with a standard FTP to securely transfer files. It's an extra layer of security that keeps all data transfers private and encrypted. And how to use SSH? Do you use SSH? Using SSH starts with an SSH client like PuTTY for Windows or OpenSSH for Linux systems that communicates with the server. Next, users enter the remote machine's IP address or host name and port number, along with users' credentials such as username and password or public key. The remote server runs a daemon that monitors a specific port for incoming client connection requests. And finally, a new SSH session is established if the user's credentials are correct. Using a command line based client like OpenSSH, users run SSH and request the connection using their username and the remote computer's IP address and port like this. Then the client and the server exchange identifying information and prompt for the password or public key. After entering the password, the SSH session starts if the user's credentials are correct. Now, when do you use SSH? SSH is a when to use SSH valuable tool for managing files and servers remotely, but its usefulness doesn't stop there. With SSH access and the correct permissions, you can completely control the remote host operating system with commands and scripts run through the remote shell. For example, you can view and monitor server and application load, use it to make bulk changes to files, or use any other shell command in the same way you would on a local machine. SSH access also presents the perfect opportunity to install WordPress command line interface. WordPress CLI. This tool allows you to work with WordPress without a web browser or the familiar WordPress dashboard. Using SSH, you can pass user credentials along with the WordPress CLI command on the remote server. By the way, memberships and much more. So basically,